Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Clarissa. I put out new pick a card readings, new tarot collective readings once a week. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to title this video yet this week, but this reading is all about like what makes you sexy, desirable, irresistible, what makes you attractive to other people, what really draws other people into you. And while I'm going to be looking at physical, like that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about initially in the readings, we are also going to touch on like who you are on a deeper level and like what about you and like your personality and your characteristics makes you attractive as well. So we're going to be looking at both. As you can see, I have 3 different piles here this week for you guys to choose from, or 3 different groups, I guess. So for group number 1, we have this onyx heart, black onyx heart. Hello. Like wants to focus on everything but my freaking hand. There we go. Oops. That was scary. Sorry y'all, I'm like trying to get it clear, but my camera just like doesn't want to focus, which is fun. There we go, that's better. So this black onyx heart for my group number 1s. For my group number 2s, we have this opalite, or excuse me, yeah, it's opalite. This opalite heart, which this one will focus. And then for group number 3, we have this lovely sodalite heart. Guess the trick is to put it like on my fingertips, huh? Okay. So again, group number 1, 2, and 3. Before you pause the video or, skip to your reading, I just want to give you guys a couple disclaimers. So I'm sorry if you hear screaming in the background. They're like kids running around outside. And if you hear like any other noises in the background during the video, we do have like an extra animal in the house right now who's a little bit more anxious. He barks and whines and like just makes more noise than my dog does. So if he gets to that point, I'll go ahead and pause the video so that we can calm him down and then go on from there. My husband is sitting in with like all of the animals right now, so hopefully it won't be an issue, but you never know. I just figured I would preface it with that. I do also want to say that if you feel drawn to more than one pile, by all means, do whatever like resonates or feels the best for you. But I am going to get very descriptive in these readings, and so you may not resonate with everything in both readings. You may like really resonate with one and just like resonate with like some snippets from the other, and that's okay. If that's what you feel called to do whatever feels best for you guys, okay? But if you need to, please take the time now to pause the video, decide whichever group pile you're the most drawn to, and then you can go to the description box down below and there will be timestamps for your individual reading this week. So anyway, I will see you guys shortly in your reading. Love you so much and thank you for joining me. Hello there, my group number 1s. As a reminder, if you decided to choose the black onyx heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to what makes you sexy, undeniable, irresistible, all of those good things. So let's go ahead and get into it. The other cards that you may recognize that were like below the stone that you chose were the castle and the siren. And then you also got the King of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the Lovers, the 4 of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, and the World. So I just want to start off by saying that this is going to sound really weird, but when I was shuffling the cards for your pile, I actually like got the imagery of the siren in my head. So I must have just like been thinking about you guys without even realizing that I was. I just thought it was interesting that came out. I think that it's safe to assume that you guys are very physically attractive, my group number 1s. And maybe you don't feel like you are or you don't notice it, but I feel like when you walk in a room, you're like a magnet and you draw the attention of others to you. Again, you may not even notice this yourself or care to pay attention to it too much, but you definitely turn heads. I do feel like for the majority of you, you know that this is the case, but perhaps what I'm picking up on is that you have gotten to this place where you kind of just ignore it or brush it off because you're so used to it. And honestly, I get the feeling that sometimes you guys find it to be like a nuisance, and it is kind of annoying to you. But at the same time, like, I don't know. And I think it's because I'm like picking up like strong Scorpio energy here, but it's almost like you kind of want to be aloof sometimes and you feel like you can't because somebody always like notices you. And I don't even like say that because I think that you're cocky or anything and you think that people do, but I really think that's your reality, my group number ones. I feel like you guys are tired of people only being attracted to you for your looks. At least some of you are, and this has caused you to become a bit more closed off and guarded. Like I said, I'm getting like major Scorpio vibes from this group, and I think it's because of the Siren and the Castle both coming up. To me, this is again showing how your looks draw people in, but you don't just let anyone into your inner world. You can be very secretive and stoic to those you don't vibe with or those you have no interest in getting to know. Overall, hold on, sorry, I kind of lost my space there. I went down a little too far, I think. Ooh, definitely. Okay. Overall, looks-wise, I feel like you're very seductive and mysterious, and often people try very hard to break down your walls, but you're a very good judge of character, and you don't just open up for anyone. Now let's go ahead and take a look at like who you are, like on a personal level, like what your personality is, what your inner world's like, and not just on the physical, because I think it's safe to say that you're like a freaking smoke show. And again, I think that you already kind of know that about yourself. Let's see here. I feel like you guys spend a lot of time in the recesses of your own mind. You have a very active, quick-witted mind, and I don't think it's something people expect of you or even think it would be possible that you possess such complexity because you're so attractive. And I think this can be the curse of being so attractive and probably why you keep your guard up, because you don't want to be seen as just some pretty object. You are very smart, able to think quickly on your feet, and you're very good with your words. You may not be, or you may, excuse me. Oh, I felt like I was gonna sneeze there. Sorry. Oh, it's like that tingling, burning feeling in my nose that I was getting. So you may not be a man or a woman of a lot of words, but that's because you don't need to use a lot when you're clear and precise and succinct with your word choice. I feel like when you do decide to let people in, they see just how complex, rebellious, and goofy you are because you're quick-witted. I get the feeling that you love a good prank, being a trickster, or just making people laugh in general. You're funny and you're hot. You're like a lethal combination, my group number ones. Not only that, but I get the feeling that you don't like to be told what to do. You march to the beat of your own drum, and you aren't just going to do something because it's what someone else wants or because it's what society wants. You do things on your own schedule, and you're not afraid to forge your own path. I feel like you're very ambitious while also being realistic about what is possible for you or what you want to accomplish. You're very level-headed and logical, and while you love to dream, you love your freedom and you love to go against the grain, you are never irrational about doing so. I feel like you guys are the total package, my group number ones, and more layers. And the more layers people pull back of yours or peel back of yours, the more attractive you become and the more they're sucked into your world. So yeah, I feel like you guys are just like I said, I feel like you really are the total package, because while you are like super attractive, like super physically attractive, like super beautiful, super like sexy, what's even more sexy about you is like your mind. And again, I feel like you have a very deep, complex mind. You think about a lot of things, and your inner world is very vast and like very vibrant. And I think that's why almost you don't let just anybody in, because you get bored easily with people that aren't like deep. that just want to be with you because you're attractive. You don't really care for that shallow bullshit, and that's why I feel like you've got like Scorpio placements. You may have a Scorpio stellium, or you could just have a lot of placements in the 8th house, because Scorpio is very much that way. Scorpio can be very physically attractive, but they get bored easily or don't care about people that are like just wanting to get to know them on a surface level. You're much more deep and complex than that, and you, like, don't get me wrong, you know that you're attractive, you know how to use your looks to get what you want sometimes, but at the end of the day, when it comes to like looking for an actual partner, when it comes to like you thinking about settling down and all of that stuff, you want somebody that mentally stimulates you as much as like they physically do, right? And it's very important for you to have somebody that like mentally and emotionally stimulates you, that you're able to connect with on a much deeper like soul level than just the physical, because you know that that stuff is fleeting, and you're not here to just, you know, make these shallow connections with other people. I had mentioned also that I feel like you guys love stability to an extent, but you're also very rebellious, and you don't just do things because you're told to do them or because that's what other people expect of you or what society expects of you. You do things because you genuinely want to. You go after things because you genuinely want to. And if you don't have a desire to do that, if you don't have like a desire for something, you're not going to waste your time on it. And again, like, I just really get this feeling that once people like tear down like your walls, once they peel back your layers of your onion, like Shrek would say, they get to see just how like deep and complex you really are. And while they may have fallen in love with you like for the way that you look, and again, like I said, you know how to use that to your advantage, but at the end of the day, they stick around because of who you are and like what your personality is like, because you're not boring. You're not just like a pretty face or a good body or like whatever. You're not just those things. There's a lot more to you than just that. And like, I just want to preface this by saying that I don't think that's the case for anybody. I don't think anybody is just the way that they look, but you don't even, what I'm getting at is like, you don't even hold a lot of value in that stuff. Like, you love being who you are and the way that you look and all of that stuff, but you hold more value in the way that people are on the inside as well, and the same thing with yourself. Like, you care much more about that stuff than the physical, because again, you know that the physical doesn't last forever. One thing that I forgot to mention too before I got started is that I do have 2 other oracle decks for you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get into those now and see if we can get any additional detail about you know, what makes you guys sexy. But I think that we've gotten into it pretty good here. I think it's pretty clear and evident as to why you guys are and like what really draws people into you. I just like really get the vibe of like, and like I'm hearing the words like hypnotic, enchanting, and I think it's because of like the siren coming up here, because again, it's like she sings, the siren supposedly like in mythology sings their song and just like draws people into them. And I get the feeling that that's the case with you. It's like you step into a room and you're just hypnotic, you're magnetic, you are just like eye-catching, and people just kind of like lose their whole train of thought when they see you. So you got Taurus, I have to come out, which I think is interesting here and makes sense. And I'll tell you here why in a second. We'll try and get one more card from this deck. What else makes our group number 1s sexy and irresistible? Ooh. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the deck. All right, and we have 6th house routine. Okay. Okay. So I think it's interesting that Taurus came up here because I definitely can like see that and understand that here with this group. As I had mentioned, I get the feeling that you guys only do things that like are appealing to you, right? You don't do things just because. And I think that some Tauruses, not all, can definitely speak to that, because Taurus can be so stubborn and set in their own ways that they don't care if, you know, society is telling them to settle down and have kids. If they don't want to, they're not going to. And, you know, of course, with the Four of Pentacles coming up here, I think that you do crave that level of like stability. And, you know, just like emotionally, financially, but like feeling secure in your life. And I think that you do crave that. And it's something that you do work toward, but you're going to do it in your own way, in your own time. You can't just like push a bowl and tell them to start going. Like, they really start catching momentum. It's like a boulder falling off of a mountain, right? Like, it's going to stay in its spot until there's some momentum that it's gathering, until it starts to move in the direction that it wants to. And then it's like, it's moving so fast down that mountain because it's catching on to that momentum that it started. But again, I definitely feel like the stubbornness here, because I think that you are very much so set in your own ways, doing things the way that you want to, and you don't really like listen to other people when they tell you, oh, you should do it this way. You're like, no, I'm gonna do it my way, and if it doesn't work out, then maybe I'll do it your way, but I'm gonna do it my way first. And then with 6th house routine coming up, I think it's interesting that this did, because again, I do feel like you guys are very rebellious. I feel like you are spontaneous in a way as well, where you just kind of like to do things when you want to do them, and when they feel good to you. But I do think that that's something else that like underlyingly for you that people don't necessarily notice right away, is that you do understand the value of a good routine. Like, maybe that's why you are as seductive and like irresistible as you are, because you make sure to cook yourself like meals and nourish your body. You make sure to drink enough water throughout the day. You make sure to like focus on your skincare, your oral health, like whatever it is, there's something, and there could be multiple things that you do to take care of yourself. And you really truly do this from a place of love for yourself, of wanting to make sure that you're provided for and taken care of, because you know that at the end of the day, that's on you to do that. And I don't know if you've always been like that, but there's something about that energy of like us really loving and caring for ourselves that makes us so much more attractive when we really, really like take care of ourselves. And I'm not saying that you have to be like this fit, slim goddess or anything like that. I'm just saying that you definitely make sure that like your body is nourished, that your soul feels nourished, that your mind feels nourished, and you do those things to make sure that you can accomplish what you want to, especially with this like Taurus I have coming up, because again, Taurus is very much so about stability. Taurus is fixed earth. Taurus likes things to be a certain way and stay the same. Taurus doesn't really do the best with change. Let me take a drink of water here real quick because my throat is getting really dry and I'm like wanting to sneeze everywhere. I don't know. But anyway, Taurus, again, likes to do things Taurus's way. But Taurus also really understands the importance of having a good foundation and routine in place. And I think that's just it. Like, you're so, and with like the Lovers coming out here too, I really do feel like this duality in nature of like who you are. Because again, you're spontaneous and fun, but you also understand the importance of structure. You're sexy and seductive and irresistible, like physically, but you also understand the importance of having a good, like being a good person, having more depth to you than just that. And like, you care more about what's in somebody's heart and somebody's mind than what, than what they look like physically, right? And so I don't feel like any of this stuff that you do to take care of yourself is about vanity and about, you know, looking and presenting a certain way. It's about making yourself feel good from the inside out. And again, maybe that's why you're so physically attractive. Maybe that's why you're so sexy, is because you ooze that. You like radiate that. People can feel that and see that you care about yourself, that you take care of yourself, that you love yourself. And I really do think that people are drawn to us more when they are able to sense that off of us, when they know that we really love ourselves and we really take care of ourselves. And people love, I'm one of those bitches that loves to, you know, watch other people's like skincare routines or oral hygiene routines or like the Sunday resets, because to me it's like you're doing those things because you love yourself and you want to take care of yourself and your environment. And yeah, I just think that that's why you guys do the things that you do. And again, like, it may not be something that people expect from you when they first meet you, but once they get to know you, they just find it like so attractive that you really take care of yourself. Sorry about that. I was like pausing for a second. I'm going to shuffle these cards for you too. I was pausing for a second because our neighbors have been like yelling at each other lately. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I live in like the worst apartment complex in the world, and our neighbors have been like screaming at each other the last couple of days, and I thought I heard them like about to start, but it's probably just something else, thankfully. I think it's just like some PTSD from that the last couple of days. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle one last deck for you guys and see if we get any like final pieces of information from Spirit here about, again, what makes you charming, sexy, seductive, all that good stuff. I feel like my camera's really shaking when I'm shuffling. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Any last words here, Spirit? And then, like, I don't know if you guys, you know, have ever heard this song or not, but before I got on to, like, you know, do your tarot reading for you, when I was doing your synopsis, the song Lovely came up by Brent Faiyaz, and yeah, it's like a very sexy song. So I don't know, that's like the vibe that I'm getting, and like I'm hearing the lyrics of that song just like repeating in my mind while I'm shuffling your cards. So if you haven't heard that song, maybe take a listen. It's a very sexy song. Definitely giving me your vibes, group number one. Okay. Let's do, oops. Alright, what do we get here? We have love. Aphrodite, I call to thee to bring a true love here to me. Okay. Love that. One more. Joy. Okay. Cool. Joy, as I do will, so mote it be. Let joy and light radiate from me. Okay, I'm struggling to read that. So, with love coming up here, you know, it's interesting. I had said I get really strong Scorpio vibes, and I still do to an extent, but with Taurus coming up here, you could have some Taurus placements as well. And I think it's easy to like see the similarities in both because they are like opposing signs in the zodiac, but our opposite sign always we have a lot more in common with than we like to think that we do. So I think that that's interesting, and especially with like talking about love here, really to me that's pointing to like Venus, and especially with like talking about Aphrodite, and like Taurus is Venus ruled, and Taurus really loves beautiful things, much like Libra does. Very like aesthetically pleasing things, very beautiful things. And Taurus is usually very physically attractive as well because of Venus. So I feel like that's what this could be pointing to for you, but also with us talking about the self-love aspect that you have for yourself and the love that you display for yourself. I feel like that's why this is coming up as well, because you really learn to love yourself as well as like other beautiful things and beautiful people in your life, whether they be physically attractive or not. You find them physically attractive because you're attracted to who they are on a deeper personal level. And then with joy, I do feel like you guys are very joyous. I feel like you're very radiant and bubbly and fun, and especially like the Seven of Swords coming up, I feel like in this like reading in particular, it's pointing to like you kind of being a trickster or a pranker, and you like to just laugh and have fun. And you may not be like that initially when people first meet you, because I do think you can be a little standoffish because you are really attractive and you're like, I'm not just gonna freaking have you here and have you around just because you think I'm hot. But I think that once you let your guard down a little bit and you let people in, they see just how like joyous and happy and fun you are. And you really do like to have a good time. You like to laugh. You probably laugh a lot more than, you know, you do anything else. And I think that people really find that super attractive when it comes to you. So anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave your guys' reading here, my group number ones. I hope that this resonated for you and that you found this to be like a fun reading. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to do something like this, and just like fun and different, you know? It's kind of like neat to hear about yourself from somebody else's perspective and to maybe see different things about yourself that like you didn't even realize other people found attractive about you. But anyway, I love you guys so much. Again, thank you for joining me. If this resonated for you, please leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up so this message can reach anybody else who may need to hear it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings, new tarot collective readings once a week. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in my reading next week. Thanks. Bye. All right, hello there, my group number twos. As a reminder, if you chose the Opalite heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to what makes you sexy, seductive, irresistible, what about you is charming and draws people in, you know, all that good stuff. So for you guys, we have the Creator, the Animal, the Ace of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Three of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and Justice. And then I do have two other oracle card decks that we'll look at once we've gone over these first, like the initial feeling that I'm getting about you guys here. And then we'll look into those other two oracle decks to get any additional information. So let's see here. So I wanted to first, I should have gotten this out. I wanted to first go ahead and read the passage for the Creator because I actually really like this passage in the book, and I really think that it like speaks to the vibe that I'm getting here so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that for you guys first, and then we'll get into the rest of the reading. So let me find that here. Okay, we're close. Okay, maybe not. All right. There we go. Okay. The Creator, the Artist, the Alchemist, the Innovator. The Creator, the first archetype in the trio of existence, is not intimidated by darkness or by lack. They know that from the void, creation inevitably emerges. With meager, minimal, and outlandish materials, the Creator reveals a new image. They make the empty room resonate the healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others tossed away. Though generative, this archetype annihilates preconceived notions of what is possible, leaving unexpected openings in the wake of its destruction. The Creator does this by first being absolutely present to what is, not imagining or wishing things were different, and second, trusting that a force greater than themselves awaits constant collaboration with the human soul. Whether we call it nature, God, goddess, Shakti, or divinity, it remains nameless. It is the Creator's lifelong companion. This is the part that really stuck out to me for you guys. The Creator is naturally attractive and coveted. As its energy zings with possibility, you can feel when a Creator type enters the room. All eyes land on them. And then to increase your Creator energy, ward off jadedness on all costs, recommit to childlike curiosity, and nix the rules. So yeah, I think that that really speaks to the energy that I was getting here when I was first looking at your cards. And I like really had to read you guys the passage for the creator card, because again, that was the vibe I was getting when I was looking at your cards. I feel like there's something very unique about you guys, group number 2, and you definitely turn heads when you walk in a room. It may be because of the way you dress or the way that you look. I feel like some of you may have like very distinct features, or you have like a very distinct like style. You just dress like differently. You don't care about the fashion rules, but you really stand out when you enter a room because of it, because you're unique and you see things so differently. And again, you just really follow, like, you play by your own rules essentially. I feel like with the animal card coming up, you may have very big, like, striking eyes or something to that effect. You really do know how to catch the attention of others. I do think it is also in the energy you put out to the world, something about your energy that just draws others in and makes it possible for them to know, and it makes it impossible for them not to notice you. Again, I get this feeling that you're very quirky, very different. You just see the world very differently. And I get the feeling that you're someone that others go to when they need a creative, out-of-the-box solution. You think of things that others had never considered before. Much like group number 1, you live life outside the societal norms and expectations. I really did get that vibe from my pile number 1 also. But that was like just kind of a layer of theirs as well, and they were like much more like stable as well. They really did crave stability, whereas you guys, I feel like you're much more spontaneous and you're just much more like up for whatever happens kind of energy, and you don't really care about everything needing to be like perfect, and you don't care to have stability all of the time. Like, it's not something you necessarily need all of the time. Let's see here. I get the feeling that you are very fit and physically attractive, but I don't feel like it's because you obsess over your body. You just really enjoy being outdoors. There's nothing more beautiful to you than experiencing all that nature has to offer. And I feel like you pursue these beautiful places with these beautiful sights. You're the type of person to go on a strenuous 10-mile hike just to appreciate the view at the end. And who knows, you may even be very artistic and love to capture those places with photographs or painting. Whatever it is, you have quite the eye for beauty, and you're excellent at capturing it for others to experience. Looking deeper at you, my group number 2s, sorry, I did this last time too. If you guys don't know and you're new to my channel, I type up like a synopsis of your tarot cards, as well as like any oracle cards that are a part of like the initial selector, just so that I can stay on task here. And I like did this in the last group. I scrolled way past your guys's synopsis, so give me a second here. Looking deeper at you guys, my group number 2s, I feel like you move very slowly in love. I feel like when you fall hard. So leading up to that point, you like to take things slowly and be a little bit more logical. You're probably more logical than people would assume you are because you're so creative and artistic. You don't just have meaningless relationships with people. At least that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a deep connection. And that's not to say that you don't have potential suitors, because you definitely do. For this reading, I feel like the 7 of Wands showing up here is showing me that you have high expectations for a romantic partner. You won't just be with someone to just be with someone. You know, you're not the type of person to just like be with someone so that you have someone, right? You don't care about all that. And I think this may be because you've had your heart broken in the past. You've given your all to someone to have them hurt you or betray you. So now you make sure to take your time. You allow yourself to really get to know someone before you let them in and you become intimate with them. What I'm trying to say is I think you dream of a beautiful romance, but you aren't going to make it work with the wrong person. You don't ignore red flags, and you are much more slow and logical in your approach to connection, as not to let your feelings get the better of you and not to let yourself be taken advantage of in love. I feel like something that continues to draw people into you outside of your looks is your compassion for others. You do your best to be the light in the darkness and to show others kindness and understanding. and those that see you and love you think that this is your most attractive characteristic of all. Okay. I'm going to take a drink of water here, and then I just want to elaborate a little bit more. My mouth is like super dry today. So yeah, with the Three of Swords coming out here, that's where I was getting the feeling that you guys potentially have had a broken heart before, and that you're a little bit more guarded with your heart now. And it's not that you don't let people in, but you just are much more particular about who you're going to let in, and who you're going to become intimate with, because you really want to make sure you know someone. Maybe in the past you were like a little bit more reckless in love even, and you just like jumped into things without really thinking them through all the way, before you even knew someone. Like, I don't know, I'm just getting the vibe of like maybe you jumped into a relationship and literally like moved in with somebody before you even knew their middle name. Not to say that you did that, my group number 2s, but that's like the level of, you know, quick that I'm getting here. And then it's like, as you lived with this person and got to know them more, you're like, I don't know if I actually really like you as a person. So now it's just like important for you to make sure that you take the time to get to know someone, so that you have like better balance between like your logical brain and like your feelings, and you don't just allow like the emotions, the love to like carry you away. I don't know, maybe it's because of the Creator card coming up here, but I do get like refined Pisces energy from you guys. Not to say that Pisces, like, I'm a Pisces rising, so I'm not judging any Pisces out here. I can definitely be a little delusional and romanticize my life and, you know, people a little too much sometimes. But I think that you've got to the point where you're really good at being like, okay, you know, we can dream about those things. We can have like this dream of a picture perfect romance, but at the end of the day, we have to be a little bit logical about things. We have to like really get to know somebody on a deeper level to make sure they actually would live up to that like standard, to that idea that we have in our head, versus them like, you know, just being like a dud because we built them up to be something that they weren't in our own heads, right? And so I think that that's why the Seven of Wands is coming out here for you guys, actually, because you in the past had a tendency to just, you know, dive into things, maybe even have like a savior type complex where you thought that you could help somebody, you could fix them, you could make them better. And now you're just like, no, screw that. Like, I have really high standards. I know my worth. I know like who I am, and I don't need somebody to make my life complete. I need somebody that's going to like enhance my life and make it better in some ways. And so it's like, I'm seeing this as like you have a bunch of different suitors and you're like fighting them off, like, no, you guys are garbage, get on my level kind of thing. And I love that for you. I really do, because I think that that's also something that makes you super attractive, is that you don't just settle for anybody, because you're perfectly content being by yourself and you know that you're okay being alone. But like, if you're gonna have somebody in your life, if you're gonna have a romantic partner, they're going to at least be on your level, you know? They're not gonna start off lower than you. And I think that because you're like so caring and kind and you have such a good heart, that in the past people would take advantage of that, and you've gotten to this point where you're like, I'm not gonna let people just take advantage and walk all over me anymore, because I'm a kind, like, loving person, giving person. You know, this could also be like Cancer energy even, because Cancers can have that complex sometimes, I feel like, when they haven't done a lot of like work, is they're so intuitive and empathic and like compassionate for other people that they don't realize that people are taking advantage of them. And so yeah, I think that that's something that you've really done a good job of working past, and you know your worth and you're okay with taking things slow. And again though, like, I get this artistic vibe, and it may be with like the way that you look, the way you dress. again, like I had mentioned in my synopsis, maybe you take beautiful photographs, or you're like an excellent painter or something, but you just have this ability to create beauty out of nothing and to really convey the beauty of a place that you were in for the viewer, because that can be hard to do through photograph or through a painting sometimes, but you're really, really good at that. But overall, I really do feel like, just like I had read from the book, you turn heads when you walk into a room. You have such a beautiful aura, such a beautiful vibe, such beautiful energy that you bring into a room. And don't get me wrong, I think that you guys are very physically attractive, obviously. It's like a given that you're physically attractive, but there's more to you than meets the eye. There's more that draws people in. There's more that people end up being attracted to, not just your looks. And that's really important to you, that people aren't just attracted to you for the way that you look. So let's go ahead and get into your oracle cards here, the rest of them anyway. So we'll shuffle 2 different decks here and see what additional information we get from Spirit about what makes you guys sexy. And like, I think that I, was inclined to say like Pisces or Cancer energy, because to me, Pisces and Cancer just exude this like creator energy. There are obviously other zodiac signs that can do this as well, but I don't know. There's something about a Pisces or a Cancer. They're just so creative, and so they think of things so differently outside the box than other people do. And I really think that Pisces and Cancer just have like this eye for beauty. They have this eye for being able to, again, convey that to other people so other people can see the beauty as well. And especially with like the animal coming up, as I had mentioned, like I think that you guys really do like to live outside of the norm, right? You love to just like be kind of like spontaneous and rebellious, and you don't like to do things anybody else's way. But with the eye coming up here in the animal, like how that blue eye draws you in, I really get that sense from you guys as well that some of you may have very striking eyes. You could have like ice blue eyes, or just like very big, deep eyes that really draw people in. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll cut this deck. I'll just shuffle once more and then we'll cut, since we're not getting any flyers. That's okay. All right. Okay, so we have Gemini, I think. And then we also have Saturn, Truth. Okay, very interesting, you guys. Very interesting. It's funny also, because I was thinking this when I was like talking about your cards earlier. I know that I had said like Pisces, Cancer vibes, but I had also gotten like Aquarius vibes. And I think it's because I had mentioned that you're like a little quirky, a little different. Your mind works very differently, and I definitely get that from like an Aquarius person. So you could have any of those placements. I feel like Cancer, Pisces, or Aquarius. And you could also just have major planets in some of those houses as well. So for Aquarius, that would be the 11th house. For Pisces, it'd be the 12th. And for Cancer, it would be Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, the 4th house, right? Yeah, I always have to think about that one for Cancer, but yes, it could be the 4th house. So anyway, you could have major planets in those. You could also have like in those houses, or you could have like planets in those signs, excuse me. But anyway, with Saturn coming up here, I feel like this is talking about how, again, you guys really like to get to the heart of things. you like to see the truth of who people are. You're definitely someone that I feel like lives by that saying, when people show you who you are, who they are, believe them the first time. And you're really good. You've gotten really good about being able to understand people more, and you know, really being able to not like judge people by their first impression, but you judge people over the series of time, right? Of how they act, of how they present themselves, of how they respond in certain situations. Like, you judge the person as a whole over time, and then you're able to better understand, okay, is this somebody that I like actually want in my life or not? And then with Gemini, I think coming up again, I do think that you have a very deep, complex mind. There's a lot that goes on for you. There's a lot that you think about. And I think that's also why you are much more slow moving now than maybe you were previously, is because, again, we're using our brain, we're using our logical brain a lot more. Saturn rules over Aquarius, as well as Capricorn. But anyway, Saturn rules over Aquarius. Gemini is an air sign, Aquarius is an air sign, and then Justice is actually the ruler of Libra in the tarot. And so again, I really do get this logical approach, this better balanced approach of, you know, not allowing our feelings and our emotions to get the best of us when it comes to judging people, getting into certain relationships, falling in love even. And I think that your ability to be logical and be grounded is something that some people really find attractive in you, and that they really appreciate about you. Because again, I do think that, as I had mentioned in your little synopsis, that people do come to you for advice or for like a different perspective or outlook on something than perhaps they had thought of previously. And I think that that's something that you're really good at, is providing a different perspective, providing a creative solution, because you have such an intricate way of thinking and such an intricate way of, you know, attacking a problem. But yeah, that's why I feel like those things are coming up. And again, like, it's just very attractive. It's very attractive to meet somebody with a different perspective and point of view, somebody that makes you think differently about a certain situation or about the way that things are. I know I personally love that, but I love to be like mentally stimulated as a Libra moon. So again, like, maybe you have an air moon sign and it's very important for you, or like an air Venus, and it's very important for you to also be like mentally stimulated from people, but that, you know, you also provide that mental stimulation for people as well. Okay, let's take a look. Sorry, this happened last reading too. Let's take a look here at this last set of oracle cards for you. I mentioned this, I believe, in group number 1, but my neighbors have been like screaming, fighting at each other the last couple days, and I thought they were about to start up there again, but I don't think so. I think it was just something outside. If that happens, I will pause the video. So let's take a look here at any last pieces that Spirit has about what makes our group number 2s attractive, sexy, charming, desirable. And like, I hope that you guys appreciate the way that I'm kind of doing this, because I'm somebody that also thinks that obviously, like, we're physically drawn to people first, but what keeps them interested, what continues to draw them in, what makes us, you know, sexy, like, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically, you know? Okay. I'm gonna shuffle once more, and then I'll cut these cards as well for you guys. Okay. Oops, I meant to cut. My bad. Let me just go ahead and shuffle once more. Sorry about that. I thought I saw something outside weird that was going on, but nope, just me. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and cut now. Okay. True love, come to me. True love shall come to me. As I do will, so mote it be. And then success. Success that's true belongs to me. Success with honor, integrity. Okay. All right, y'all. So with the true love come to me card coming up here again, I think that this is pointing to the fact that you guys have such a beautiful like imagination, have such a beautiful mind in the way that you work. And I do think that you guys crave this like fairy tale romance, but at the same time you're like, I'm not gonna just do that with anybody. I'm not just gonna settle for anybody. I'm not gonna pretend like somebody's Prince Charming when they're not, right? And I think that you guys have also become a lot more logical with the way that relationships work in general, where you're like, it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies and sunshine all of the time, and that's okay. But you have like an idea of what your perfect partner and romance would look like. And again, you're not just going to settle for anyone or anything. And then with success, it's actually interesting because, you know, with us having Saturn here as well, I think that you guys are actually like very dedicated to your craft, whatever it may be. So again, I get the feeling that with the creator coming out, you guys are very artistic, and you're just like very dedicated to whatever it is that you do. So whether that be like, I don't know, fashion, style, whether it be like photography or painting or art or whatever it is, you're very like invested in it because you really care about it, and it's really important for you to be able to show other people the beauty that you've seen and to convey that, right? And so I think that that's something that people find really sexy about you, is just how dedicated you are to your work, how invested you are in it, how much it like inspires you, how much you enjoy it. Because let's be real, most of us like do not love the like day jobs that we do. I love doing this, but I don't necessarily love my day job all the time. And it's like inspiring when you meet somebody that like their day job perfectly aligns with their passions and like what they're interested in life, what they like to do. And so for you, it's like it's not even work. You're just successful because you love what you do. You really truly love it, and you're really truly invested in it. And I think that people find that really, really attractive actually about you. So anyway, I'm gonna leave your guys' reading here. I hope that you enjoyed this. I thought this was really fun. And I hope that you feel like maybe you learned something about yourself, even in terms of like why other people find you sexy and desirable and attractive, because like I had mentioned, you know, the physical matters to a degree, but at the end of the day, it's like, who are we internally, that like draws people into us and keeps people around, right? Because looks will fade, but like, what about you emotionally and mentally will not, you know? Like, what about you is sexy, like your personality. So anyway, like I said, I hope this resonated for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up so this message can reach as many other people as possible. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put out new pick a card readings, tarot readings once a week. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you in my reading next week. Thank you. Bye. All right, hello there, my group number 3s. As a reminder, if you picked the Sodalite heart, then this is your reading this week in regard to what makes you sexy, irresistible, undeniable, you know, all that good stuff. So we're going to take a look, and as I mentioned, you know, this is a look at the physical, but it's also a look at what's below the surface as well that makes you attractive to other people. So we have for you guys the King, the Stone, the Three of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Moon, Justice, and the Nine of Pentacles. And I also do have 2 additional oracle decks that we'll get into as well once we touch on these for you guys. But let's go ahead and get into it, my group number 2s. My group number 3s. Oh my gosh, group number 2. Maybe you need to look at group number 2 as well. If you felt drawn to that, maybe that's like your signal to go look at that as well. But anyway, my group number 3s. If I said 2 before, again, I'm sorry, but group number 3. Excuse me. The energy that I'm getting from your reading so far is that you hold a lot of power and are in control of making very important decisions. You just give off very powerful energy. You walk into a room oozing confidence and assuredness, and you're very confident in who you are, and others really pick up on that. I feel like this powerful, even authoritative energy that you have is what makes you sexy. I think it makes you hot and really makes you desirable and draws others to you. When you speak, people listen. I get the sense that you may have a very powerful or like unique voice. Like even I'm getting, like radio voice in my head. You command the room when you speak, and what you have to say is very important to people. You know what you want, and you know how you want things done in the bedroom and in the office. Wink, wink. Your powerful energy is what draws people in, as your ability to stay calm in even the most stressful situations. You really are an anchoring point for people, a rock or a stone, as we're seeing here. People trust you to make decisions, and they trust that you're loyal, sometimes to a fault. They know that you will be there for them if they need you, as you are so loyal and dependable, especially for those you love and care for. So yeah, I just want to elaborate on that a little bit more. I really feel like you guys, even if you don't think that you're like the hottest person in the room, you have such a confident, powerful, like magnetic energy about you. And I really think that like you may be in positions of power when it comes to like work, or maybe even like your relationship or dynamic or whatever. I'm sorry if you're hearing all that noise out there. People are so obnoxious. But anyway, I just think that like I really think that you guys are physically attractive, but I think the thing that draws people in most to you is like your power, your status, what you have. I don't know, I get like CEO vibes, or like maybe you're even like a manager of a very important like branch or company or something. And you dress the part as well. Like you definitely dress in like, I don't even want to say business casual. I feel like business professional is like how you show up all the time. Very like put together, very clean cut. I get the sense that you're somebody that it bothers you if like you have a stray hair, you have like something out of place, because you're very meticulous. But it's like all part of this like persona and this energy, where you are in control and you have the power in these situations. And there's something about you, even like, I don't know, I'm hearing this, like RBF maybe, which I have too, so no shade, no hate. And if you don't know what that is, it's resting bitch face, where, you just don't give a lot off like emotionally to people initially. Like you can be very stoic, you can be very cold, and it's not that you're that way. It's just like that's the initial impression that people have of you when they first meet you. And it's a good and a bad thing sometimes, right? Because people can have these like faulty perceptions of you, but also like it kind of keeps out the people that aren't meant to be like in your life, that aren't meant to be around you, that aren't deserving of like your energy, if that makes sense. And I do get the feeling too that you're somebody that you don't panic in a crisis. You're not somebody that gets flustered very easily. You stay calm, and by you being able to be calm and control your emotions, it helps other people remain calm, but also like you're able to remain level-headed and get done what needs to get done. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like you're very sexy. but I feel like a lot of it is like your persona that you're putting out, like with how powerful you are. And again, with like you not giving a lot away emotionally when people first meet you. And I don't think that you're rude, or I don't think that you're bitchy. And even if you were, like, who cares? Because you're hot. But like, what I'm saying though is I feel like you're not like, it's not like you're giving a lot facially anyway. It's not like you're giving people these facial expressions where it looks like you're disgusted or irritated. It's more so like a blank stare of like, okay, like, what do you have to offer me, kind of thing. Because you're very like business oriented, I feel like, my group number 3s. On a deeper level, what attracts people to you more is not letting your power get to your head. I do feel like you're very fair with others. You actually like hearing input from others on what can be improved or what can be done differently. And you do take those things into account when making decisions. You're never unfair in your decision making, and you're really good about being able to explain to others why you made the decisions that you did. You also give credit where credit is due, much like a good king, which we have the king card here, who's running a kingdom. Emphasis on good here. You care about others. You care about how what you do impacts them, and you really do consider them while weighing your options and before you come to a decision. How very Libra of you, especially with the Two of Swords. Especially with Justice here and the Two of Swords, because I believe the Two of Swords is indicative of like a Libra moon, and then Justice is the card that rules over Libra in the tarot. So I do feel like you're very fair when it comes to making decisions. Ultimately, I think that you know probably what the best decision may be for like you, or even if like you're running a company, like for the company, but you want to make sure that you're making good decisions for your people as well, that you're considering them, you're getting their input, and you're not just being like this overbearing dictator, right? I think that you also really enjoy to like teach and collaborate with people. You really enjoy bouncing ideas off of people, because you don't think that your ideas are superior just because you're the person in power. And I think that's what makes you such a good leader, and like just even accumulates like your power further, because you get all of these, like, I feel like you get like these achievement based awards, or you get these promotions because people really genuinely like you once they get to know you. They like who you are as a leader. They think that you're fair. They think that you make good decisions, and they trust you. And that's like a really, really big thing for you guys, my group number 3s. I will say that I don't think you're ever indecisive. You're very good at being a leader and making a decision. Like I had said, you just like to weigh all of the options available to you. Don't be fooled here though, my group number 3s. I don't think you're all work and decisions. I get the feeling that you may be so commanding and powerful now because you didn't always feel powerful. You haven't always felt like you were in charge of your own life and making your own decisions. And I feel like a lot of this power and stability that I'm feeling from you came from a past of instability. I feel like you guys have actually done a lot of work at reclaiming your power, and more than anything, you crave being content and at peace. That's what you work so hard toward and for. And those that you let in are drawn into you even further when they really learn about who you are and where you came from and where you are now. And perhaps that's why you are so good at commanding a room now, because you realize how powerful you are when you use your voice. That may have been suppressed when you were younger. You have realized just how capable and strong you are, and you care so much about giving a voice to others because you know what it's like to feel like your voice doesn't matter. Overall, your power and ability to command a room is what makes you sexy, but who you are on a deeper level is what keeps people around for more. I was just thinking this when I was like reading that last little snippet of your synopsis. Like, I don't know, I get like very much so a powerful commanding vibes when it comes to like even like lawmaking. Like, I don't know, I get like an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez like image in my head. I think that she's like very beautiful, very commanding. The way that she dresses, the way that she speaks, the things that she, like the way that her brain works, the way that she formulates her questions, she's so articulate. But it's like this very much so like, and we didn't get this card that came up, but it's giving me very much like Queen of Swords energy, where you use your voice for good. You use your voice to stick up for other people because you know what it's like to not be able to have an effective voice, you know, to feel like your voice doesn't matter and what you say doesn't matter. And so I think that that's why you spend so much time trying to be fair, trying to like garner other people's opinions because you don't want to make anyone feel unheard. And again, I think that's why people find you so attractive, is this Libra energy almost, because I believe she's actually a Libra too. AOC is, if you're not into politics, if you don't like AOC, this is beside the point. We're looking at like who she is, you know, from a physical like standpoint, and the way that she is so articulate and so educated. She just has like such a beautiful brain. Like she's beautiful, but she also has like a beautiful mind, right? And a beautiful voice even. Like I like listening to her talk. I enjoy listening to her talk. And how she's able to stay cool and level-headed. She never really gets angry in an argument. She sits there and listens to the other person's point of view and their perspective. And then she just is like, okay, yeah, I see that, I understand that. Let me tell you like what I think about it and like where I'm coming from. And she leads from this place of compassion for other people. And that's what I'm feeling for you guys, that that's what you really ultimately do, right? You come across as this really like powerful, stoic, like hard boss, right? And you actually really give a shit. And I think that maybe this like hardness, this stoicness, is because you don't want people to think that you're soft, and you don't want people to take advantage of you, and you want people to take you seriously. And I totally respect that, because at the end of the day, I think that you guys are really, really good people, like inside, and you actually give a shit about like creating this sense of contentment for yourself and for other people. You want people to be able to live a life that they enjoy, that like is prosperous and bountiful for them as well as for yourself. You want to be happy ultimately, and you want to make sure other people are happy and taken care of as well. And I think that, again, people are drawn to the power. They're drawn to this, like, power dynamic. Even people that, like, may have a BDSM kink or, you know, are looking for a dominatrix or something, look at you and are really attracted to this powerful energy that you put off. But, you know, when they get to know you and they really know and see you for who you are, they love you for your heart and how much you actually really care about other people and making sure that other people feel seen and heard. Okay, let me take a drink real quick, and then we're going to get into your oracle cards here. Okay. So let's see what else we have here for you guys and what makes you sexy. Again, though, like, I'm not trying to say, you know, that you have to be into politics or you have to like AFC, but I think that if you're watching my channel, hopefully if you're watching my channel, that you know, are a little bit more open-minded anyway, and that you're not like some conservative that's going to be yelling at me in my comments, I hope. But anyway, I think that, you know, if you take the politics aside anyway and you actually look at the person, then you would see what I'm talking about. Oh my god. Shocker. Libra, I balance. And we got Sagittarius, AC. Okay. Again, I think the Libra is pretty self-explanatory for coming out here. You guys could have significant Libra placements. You could have significant like placements in the 7th house. You could have a stellium in the 7th house or a Libra stellium, whatever. I really do feel that Libra energy coming out, especially with us getting the 2 of Swords and Justice. And just like, again, talking about balance, talking about collaboration, seeing other people's side and their opinion. And then with Sagittarius, I see coming up, I think that this is actually very interesting because, again, I think that, okay, so Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is like the planet of abundance. And I think that it's really pointing to like the King card here, as well as like this power that I'm sensing from you guys. You see the importance of like you see the bigger picture is what I'm trying to get at. You don't just see like yourself and like what you want in this picture. You see everybody else. You see how like what you could potentially put into effect can like how that will affect everyone else that's involved, right? Because again, you don't just see it as, oh, it's just about me and what I want. You see it as, what can I do to better help and serve everyone else around me? What can I do to be the most like fair, equitable leader possible? What can I do, you know, to bring literally the most justice and balance into a situation? And I feel like you guys, again, are fair, you're jovial, you try to like do what's best for everyone, and bring everybody this sense of like joy and contentment and, you know, just being at peace. You could also have like Sagittarius placements, because I think that you guys from the outside, people may see you and be like, wow, you're so lucky. I get the sense that some of you are probably pretty young, and you've risen to these places of power, and people look at you and they're like, oh, you're just so lucky, like that you got these positions. And no, actually you worked really hard for them, and you continue to work hard for them, and any like sense of achievement that you get or any like promotion that you get, it's because you worked really hard for it. So don't let other people diminish you for those things, right? Because we know, I and you, that you work really hard for these things, and you have done a lot of work on yourself to get where you are as well. But I also feel like this is coming up again because we did get the 9 of Pentacles, and I think it's important for you guys to have this sense of security, but most importantly to have like this sense of contentment, right? Where you feel at peace and at ease with like your current life situation, and it's like this abundance almost around you as well of all these beautiful things that have flourished and grown because you've had your hand in them. And I just think that you're one of those people that when you know, put something into motion, it's because you've put a lot of time and effort into like coming to that decision to like start something or bring something into reality. And you're very successful at the things that you do plant. They grow, they bloom, like these seeds that you plant grow and bloom because you are just very good at seeing the whole picture, right? Seeing everything for what it is. Okay, so let's take a look at this last set of oracle cards here, just for any last bit of information again as to what makes you guys sexy, what makes you guys desirable and, you know, undeniable and attractive. Do one more shuffle here. We'll just go ahead and cut these cards. But yeah, what a surprise Libra came out. And like, maybe it's just because I'm a Libra moon and a Libra Mercury. And again, like, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But like, I love Libra, because I think Libra is there to remind us that everything comes in a balance, right? There's always good with our bad. There's always, you know, joy with our sadness. Like, there's always a balance of things, and it's important to be mindful of that balance and the need for balance. And I think that you're somebody that, if you do have Libra placements, that like balance is very important for you, and it's something that you think about very often. And, you know, people talk about how Libra is indecisive, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think Libra knows what Libra wants, but Libra wants to consider everybody else, and that's why Libra can come off as indecisive to people. But I don't think you guys come off that way at all. I think that you're very decisive and very good at ultimately having the final say and like making a decision. You just really like to hear other people's side and their input, and I think that's the beautiful thing about Libra. Okay, let's go ahead and cut. All right, so we have good cheer with kind heart and humor free. May good cheer rule, so mote it be. And then we also have authenticity. Who I truly am is good indeed. I am authentic in thought, word, and deed. I just got the chills reading that last one because I think that you guys are very authentic in who you are and how you feel. And I've said this before on this channel, but again, I got like very much a like Queen of Swords energy here, even though she didn't come out. And the thing about the Queen of Swords is that she's going to use her voice even if it shakes. She's going to use her voice even if there's so much emotion behind it that she cries while doing it. She's going to speak up for herself and say her piece and say what's authentic to her. And so I think that that's, you know, what's really important for you guys ultimately is that I think that that's why you have these positions of power that you have is because you know the importance of using your voice. You know the importance of like what you say. And again, like I had talked about, I feel like you guys just have a very like distinctive voice, a very powerful and effective voice. And when you talk, people listen to you, and you know that about yourself. I think that you really, really do, my group number 3s. And so you make sure to be your authentic self every time that you open your mouth, and you make sure that people know exactly who you are and what you expect. And that's why, you know, you may come off like you have RBF or you're a little stoic to people, but you don't settle for less than what you need and what you expect. And I think that that's really beautiful. And I think that, again, that contributes to this like powerful aura and demeanor that you have that people find so sexy about you. And then good cheer. I had mentioned, you know, I think that you guys are actually like, especially with Sagittarius coming up here, I think that you guys are very joyous, very happy, very bubbly, very like giving people. But, you know, it takes a while to get there with you. You're not somebody that just like presents that way right away. And I think it's once people like get to know you and understand who you are from like a boss perspective. And I apologize like if I'm focusing too much on career here, but that's just like what I have to compare to. So, you know, you can be like a boss in other areas of your life, not just your career. But I think that once people get to know you and know your heart and like know what you're really about, that's when they see like this jovial side of you that maybe they didn't see before, and how ultimately like what you care about is making sure that everybody is satisfied. Everybody feels like they have a voice and they have a piece of the pie, right? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave your guys' reading here, my group number 3s. I really enjoyed this. This was really fun for me. I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, please leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up so that it can reach as many other people as possible that may need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings, new tarot collective readings once a week. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in my reading next week. Thank you for joining me. Bye.